The New York Times once called Mary Crutcher a living textbook of responsible journalism. A veteran newsman colleague of hers called her the best damn newspaper man in Texas.
Vincent and Fred Lyons. And what?
14 others.
Oh,
There were 16 complaints filed with NLRB.
I see. I thought that was
Monday
a
and
name.
Vincent Lyons filed Monday and the others filed Tuesday.
As a student journalist at Texas Woman's College, Mary Crutcher chased Bonnie and Clyde around North Texas. She came to work for the Fort Worth Press in the late 30s and covered the New London tragedy on a day off. She was the first female police reporter in Texas and has won numerous journalism awards, and recently she was promoted to executive news editor of the Fort Worth Press.
Probably the first police reporter in Texas. She's probably the first assistant city editor in Texas, and she's probably also the first city editor in Texas, which she is now. If you want a job done around here, Mary Crutcher is the person that gets it done, whether it's as an executive or as a writer or as a reporter.
KERA 287. Unit calling in. KERA 287. Come in.
Was it tough to break in as a woman on the news side?
It was tough for anyone to break in 1936. I was working in Denton on the paper there, but I had an application in all over Texas. All the editors advised me to, I'd better start teaching because there were teaching jobs, but I had purposely not taken any education courses so that I just couldn't be forced into teaching.
Well, you were determined to go into the news side and not society.
Oh, yes. Nancy, excuse me a minute. How long are you going to be tied up? Listen, could you get off just a minute and talk to Terry on 7? He needs to know. Terry, she'll be on with you in just a minute.
You were a police reporter for some time. What kind of attitude did the police, your news sources have?
Well, I had to develop them.
beginning.
I had to develop them because they were all afraid of me, and they'd come down and peep in the press room, you know, go tell the woman in here now.
Afraid of
So
you?
it, well, I think
afraid to talk around
I think they were just afraid of their own language, maybe, with a woman down there. They'd never had one police reporter.
You overcome it.
there.
Is there any one particular scheme or trick you pull to overcome that, or?
No, I just tried to show an interest in each one, in his work, in his family, and just develop a personal friendship. Okay, did you check on that Mrs. Ivy, that person? Yeah. I'd give him a check. We should be getting that report from him. Oh, good. Well, besides reporting the news, I think it should break the news down where everyone can understand it. For instance, a complicated tax story or anything that involves money. I think the story should not be told in the typical city hall style. I think the reporter has to interpret all that for the reader. How will this affect you? Rather than how much money it's going to bring the city. How much does someone who lives in a $15,000 house, how much will their taxes go up?
Mary is all newsman, newswoman, news person, and I would trade the experience I've gotten with Mary, from Mary. I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world.
How big art do you use on Barefoot Sunday? I mean, what do you want to do?
I can take a 2-color, where I think we're going to have to put it on the page 6, yank that out. I can take fairly deep too.
turn up a dignity.
Mary is probably one of the warmest persons and the best friends that I've ever had. Best friend. She's the kind of person that keeps up with people that she hadn't seen for a long time. If she can't visit them in person, she always gives them a 5-minute phone call, maybe once a month, which is something that not very many of us do.
You mean what Terry had? No, he wanted to find out from you how significant it is.
You think I'm going to write it?
No. Tell him to give it to Barry, and you finish this story. I don't think I've ever read about any newspaper man or woman, or ever worked with any newspaper man or woman, some whose names probably wouldn't mean anything to anyone else now, but I didn't learn something from them. I never worked against a newspaper reporter in opposition that I didn't learn something from.
They just got closer on the face.
A little slower. The two will run about how deep?
6.5.
Okay, I think the two will be enough. Jim, how about 2 by about 6.5?
I worked as a police reporter my first year, and I never really felt that I got a single story the way that Mary wanted me to have it, you know, and I got chewed out from time to time. I know once I thought I was going to be fired because she chewed me out so much that, well, I cried. I was sitting there in the press room.
The grown man cried.
At the police station. She's the only person in the newspaper business, I think, who's ever really made me break down and cry. And I was sitting there with a bunch of hardened homicide detectives looking at me with tears rolling down my cheeks.
I think that as long as a woman makes them respect, does the work, and they respect the work she does, well, then it doesn't matter. But that same thing is true with a man. It's a matter of respect, and that's based on ability. Let me have part of that How much more do you
Let me
think?
have another page, please. He said,
Mary never accepts a story you turn in for face value. She always probes deeper into it. Maybe she'll give it back, make you go do it right. But she wants to, every phase of a news story, explored to the fullest. And she just won't accept something that's not complete.
on whatever beat all over town, Mary knows people and places and helps you find a creative approach or a unique approach to asking people questions or to developing a story in a different manner.
I believe that's better. Let me have that.
The guy's name is Ponds. I left off the S a couple of times.
Yeah, here it is.
Were you ever scared on a police story?
Oh, I think the only time I've ever been afraid was of my opposition that they'd beat me.
I see Mary as the conscience of the paper. Not only did she go back to our old days, but she makes all of us strive for our very best. She forces us to, that she will accept nothing but the best from us. No matter what her editor, sub-editor, the English expression goes, or reporter, or cub reporter, she makes you do your best.
All in for the beat.
You look at Mary and you know she's given a lifetime to this paper, and it makes you want to do the same.